Hey, it's Brenda with Majestic Mountain Living. Sorry guys, I've been away for a bit, just waiting for some really good weather to show you the rest of the garden. So we had a little bit of a interesting spring. We had some snow and some different elements, but all is good now and we're seeing some warmer weather. So I'd like to take you around the garden and show you what's happened. So this is actually step 4 in the gardening series that I've been working on. So you'll see a lot of progress here. And some things have taken a little bit longer, but it's all good. So let me show you what we're doing. Okay, so you might remember the herb garden that had already a lot of things. These have been going on for a few years, but now we're getting to the end of the chives and the onions. So what you'll see in here are actually going to be some black seeds that are going to form, and you want to save those and plant them, and then you'll have more for next year. So that is exactly what you want to do with those. I did put in a couple of things here. Had a little random tomato plant I put in there, and I cleared a little path for it. But everything in here really just comes back every year, mostly the oregano, which has taken over. So that is just a strong thing. And then in here I just have some flowers that are going to come up, the cosmos and the oregano mixed together. And then if you look back, you'll see where I planted the carrots and the radishes in here. And there are actually, I think this is a cosmo right here. You can see the difference between the carrot and the cosmo. So basically what I've got going in here is a lot of carrots that need to be thinned, and that's the hardest thing to do. You have to get down there and you've got to decide which ones you're going to pull out. Same with the beets. So it's kind of hard to do, but if you don't, you're not going to have any really pretty produce because it's going to be too skinny. And then on the back here are the peas, and they're starting to climb up, so they're doing really well. And then you might remember we planted the beans, and they're all doing well. I did go back because there are some bare spots, so I did put in some more beans just a few days ago. Back there is some dill, and then a lot of this is actually the morning glories that I hopefully will see climb on here, is what they did last year, so that was really pretty. And then I think down here is actually some basil I put in there. So I have a few cucumbers back here, because my plan is I wanted the cucumbers and the morning glories to come up over the trellis, over to the other side, and be beautiful. So stay tuned for that. All the tomatoes are doing really well. There is some setting fruit on this little cherry tomato, lots of blooms. So that's doing good. Peppers and more tomatoes. Mint galore, of course. Here's the trouble. I don't know what's going on. My squash is not doing so good this year. I replanted. You can see some more coming up, but as far as where they should be right now, not very good. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what's wrong. I planted that little guy. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have a good story here. My lettuce is doing good. It's coming up. My cilantro is doing really good. The trouble is, it's so funny. You get your tomatoes late, your cilantro, and your peppers, and then you're trying to make salsa, and then your cilantro bolts by then. So it's a little tricky. You got to plant it again. My friend gave me these tomatoes, so I've got those separate. This plant in here has been a family plant. We call it the Bill and Margaret. It was a friend of ours that gave this to us, and it's actually a princess feather. It's a real pretty purple plume of feathers, and it's got a ton of seeds. So you have to be really careful when you plant it because it'll just go everywhere. So I put them in there. And then I just, you saw me put my seeds everywhere, so I've got a lot of different things going on. That's why you want to save your seeds, because you can just go. I only bought some pansies and just yesterday bought some petunias, but I haven't bought any flowers this year. So this is my sweet peas going crazy. Just a really crazy little bed that I didn't plant. They just came here. And then some just things that have come back up. That'll be a nice little thing with some morning glories. And then my sweet little sink here with my bubbles, if you will, but some of them aren't bubbling yet. Over here, I was a little disappointed. Something's eating my flowers. Last year they did so good, and this year I can see little eating of my, those are my sunflowers, and I hope that I have a good show because last year they were just, so the rest of the flowers though have done really well. This is Calendra, I want to say, and it all came back, and this is another plant of it. So everything you see in here came back. I didn't plant any of this. And then things I did plant are not doing so well. So I don't know, hopefully it'll get better. The roses had a good show. And the flowers over here, the blackberries. So we should have, look at those roses. That is a huge rose bush. And I have 2 of them. Lots of beautiful white roses. It's been fun. My irises did really well, and I'm sorry I didn't catch those for you, but those had a really good show. And these little 2 pink fellas just showed up yesterday. I don't know where they came from. All of a sudden they were just in the yard. So that's fun. We've got more trees. Actually, I'm thinking this is a cherry tree now that I see the leaf more. And this one as well. And look at the cherry tree. I mean, can you believe it? We need to pick those tomorrow. They are just full of cherries everywhere. And the birds are going to eat them. So if you're seeing this video and you live up here, please come pick my cherries. I'd rather somebody eat them and enjoy them. I mean, I know the birds will, but my golly, we have cherries for days. So it's beautiful. Never had this many cherries on this tree, so I'm pretty excited about that. Very special. A few apples. Apple tree didn't do as well this year. I think it had something wrong with the bottom, and I can show you that in a minute, but I don't know what's wrong with it. If you remember from preparing your plants, I showed you how to take the seeds from the snapdragons and cut them back and then put them in the dirt, and all of this is just from last year, guys. So you don't need to buy plants every year. You just need to take care of the ones you have. Our grapes are doing really well. You can see some little baby grapes. So there are all over. So I think we're gonna have some grapes. So fun. Yeah, look at all those. So that's really cool. And then our peach tree, if you remember from my video, I actually started this with a peach seed, honestly. Stuck a peach in the dirt and it grew. Crazy, but it's true. So they're tiny. I don't know if they're gonna get any bigger, but they're everywhere. We have tons of them. And here's another one. You can see all the little stuff. That's from the seeds that I saved, guys. So you just gotta put your seeds back in the dirt. Saves you lots of money, and then you get pretty, pretty flowers. So here's what I want to show you, and if anybody knows what this is, because I am not sure. The apple tree has a split. And I don't know, but I think it's causing it some stress because there are very few apples. There are just a few, and if I could find one, I could show you, but you can see there's just a few apples. Hardly any apples. So I don't know what happened. Something, this is a new apple tree and it's young, so it's probably gonna produce next year. And yeah, so everything is doing really super good. Very happy. I even got to come out here today a little bit and play with some of my fairy gardens, which is kind of silly, but it's fun. So here's what I use, guys. I told you guys I use my compost, so I don't have to use a lot of fertilizer, but I do use this organic fertilizer for my tomatoes and my peppers. And then on my roses and things, I use neem oil. And I just put it in a bottle with some water. I dilute it to the instructions and I spray that. So that's the things I use on my plants. Here are my raspberries. I think we're gonna have a really good showing of raspberries. They go all along here. And I put some of my little fairy gardens in, just playing around. Haven't had that much time to really set everybody up, but super fun. And then these are blackberries, and the blooms have been really big, so hopefully that means we're gonna have some pretty good size blackberries. And then all of my flowers here, again, came back. My columbine, lots of columbine. I had a purple columbine, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is. And then I have some over here. But my iris that was over here was amazing, so I should have taken some pictures of that. Just didn't get a chance to. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm telling you, it's all coming on, and I love my garden. This is my fun time. So, look forward to showing you more, and stay tuned. This is just gardening in the mountain, majestic mountain living. So, enjoy your summer, and I'm having a good one. Thank you very much.